Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Toronto Blue Jays franchise mode series right here on MLB The Show 18. We are halfway through our 6th season with the Jays, and really, we're right on track. We're right on schedule for where we wanted to be. Now, being as this is our 6th season, it is a contract year, but safe to say, we're good to go. We've made the postseason in every single year, including last year, which was where we decided to take a step back on paper, trading away guys like Rhys Hoskins to really rebuild and hopefully have the Yankees and Red Sox decline, and then we're right there ready to take over. That's worked out in a way. Of course, we made the postseason last year, but you look at the standings this year, the Red Sox are on the decline, the Yankees not so much, despite losing guys like Judge and Sanchez, both of whom went to the Rockies, of course. But we're still on a pretty damn good pace. It's really down to us and New York, unless you have a miraculous comeback from one of the other three, when it comes to the division title race. And wild card-wise, right now we're in a spot, whether or not that lasts, time will tell. But we are the 5th-ranked team. Like I mentioned, we're right on track for where we want to be. With the roster the way it is, and you know what, I actually forgot to do this in the last episode, taking a look at the prospects, but it really kind of lends further, I guess, evidence towards my point. That being, we're good to go now, and we still have the prospects coming up through the system. We have 4 players in the top 10, including 4 pitchers. Really, everybody we have on this list is a pitcher. George Little there at 20, Montanez at 23. I think that's our last option in terms of top 50. But again, it just kind of proves our point, and I was noticing this too. I never showed this, I don't know why, but Player of the Month, by the way. James Hu was the Rookie of the Month for June, and Junior Player of the Month in May. I was looking through some of this stuff as I was trying to get refamiliarized, because of course with NHL 19 coming out, we've slipped up a little bit with the uploads for this episode. But, for example here, it was really, we're just before the deadline, and I was wondering, is there anything that we can do with this roster? Is there anything that we should do? And as you look through this, just look at the talent coming up in terms of starting pitching. The only options that we would have to improve this team would be to trade Murillo and one of the prospects to try and get a gem of a starting pitcher, or we can just wait until these guys turn in to those gems of starting pitchers and of course other positions as well. And that's pretty much what I think we're going to do. Of course, we had the overwhelming changes to the bullpen, but rather than just saying, okay, I'm going to trade Villalobos and Montanez and Henry Murillo for the best pitcher in the game, let's develop those players because we're still winning baseball games, despite the fact that they're slightly lower overall. Which, again, by the way, Buster Couture, what a beautiful man. The hair, just the face, everything about him. But we are looking pretty good. And of course, as far as that goes, we have players, out of their natural position playing third, second, and right. So technically, we're a bit more highly rated than that as well. But I think that pretty much covers everything as we are looking to jump into this. Of course, we looked at some stats at the end of the last episode as well. So here is the team as it stands. Soroka is still going to be our ace, despite the fact that Hunter Green has been the true ace of this staff so far this year. Zach Eflin's staying aboard. Don't really think we're going to make any changes. Liriano, he's up to an 89, technically an 85, but he's having an all-right season. And Murillo bringing up the rear there. Bullpen, like I mentioned, obviously, in the last episode, quite a few changes. This is going to be the way that we go about it for the rest of the year. And then lineup-wise, really just a slight change in Santana leading off because of the higher steal rating. Taveras, Armenteros. Taveras has actually, again, had another strong season despite him not being the highest overall guy. The bench is looking good with some promising guys there as well. Andy Wales is someone I'm concerned about because he really hasn't gotten much playing time. Probably should have played him down in AAA. We could make that change, but he's going to be ready to go for next season anyway. More changes coming at the end of this year, no matter how well we do. With all that said, let's get down to business. There's no draft to worry about, no trade deadline to worry about because we are good to go. Let's just do this. Let's see what happens and where we end up by the end of the season. I'm going to have to go fix that AAA lineup really quickly, by the way. So let's see. Who ended up coming back? I honestly don't remember. Ahmed, congratulations. You're down to AA. Nope, you're not down to AA. Wait, what? AAA? Down to AA. Whoops, that was my mistake. Hold on. Ahmed, come back. Where'd you go? There you are. I don't know why you were the call up to AAA anyway, but there you go. And then down in AA, Greenwood. Congratulations, you're getting dropped. There we go. So we have 3 games coming up against Baltimore, and we win the first 2. Lucas Giolito's off to Arizona for a handful of players. My God. Giolito traded for Matt Coach. I believe it would be Rhys Hoskins and Taylor Rogers. That is, wow. How the mighty have fallen for Rhys Hoskins. That's one hell of a deal for Chicago. Even though, everyone's over 30, I imagine there's a lot of cap involved. But damn. As we take 2 out of 3 against Baltimore. Surprise, surprise, Michael Fulmer was able to get the win there. We have 3 games coming up against Minnesota. They have a losing record so far this year. Let's see, what can we do? We can sweep them, is what we can do, bringing us up to 58 wins on the year. And now we have 3 games against the aforementioned Chicago White Sox. They do have a losing record. Let's see what we can do to end the month of July. Delabate will keep you active. A lot of injury trouble as we take 2 out of 3. I'll take it. So a very strong start for us, only losing 2 games out of 9 as we head into the month of August, which we are starting off here. Final game of July, final day of July, against Oakland in the next 2 days. Let's see what we can do. Riley's fine. I don't care about the messages. That's unfortunate. Riley is no longer fine. We'd lose 2 out of 3 to Oakland. Gohara and Hunter Green. So there we go. Praise Hunter Green. Ends up getting roughed up a little bit. But we're still 61-46 on the year. We have 4 games coming up against the 500 Seattle Mariners, in which we lose 3 straight. Are we going to be swept? I certainly hope not. We're not, but that is a rough 5-game losing streak and pretty much erases what we managed to accomplish at the start of this episode. 2 losses to Oakland, 3 out of 4 to Seattle. Yikes, 62-49 now on the year. We're only 3 games back of New York, which is nice. Baltimore, though, is catching up. So, that's the scary part. That is the scary part. So we would have been very close to the Yankees if they've slipped up. They're 5-5 in their last 10, whereas Baltimore's 8-2. So it was a bad time for us to slip up. We are still, though, in the top spot in the wild card. But Detroit's right there. Seattle's right there. We need to avoid those situations. We have 3 games against Boston. They're 20 games under. I'd like to think we could win the majority here. Can we? Marlins are offering me a trade. Lou Hurley no, we're fine. Thank you. Can we win this 3rd game? We cannot, and we are slipping up here in a big-time way. Baltimore is going to be pressuring. Yikes, a disastrous start to the month of August. Soroka's still struggling. Man, Soroka's really struggling this year. That's not good. Hunter Green now over 3.0. Eflin. Yeah, this could be going slightly better. The bullpen's still looking okay. Alvarado, though, with 4 losses on the year, isn't exactly ideal. Lineup-wise, Junior on a bit of a cold streak. Tavares on a bit of a cold streak. That would explain a lot. That would explain a lot. We're going to keep the lineup the same, though, heading into these 3 games against Tampa. Again, they're also struggling mightily this season. They win the first, but we're able to take the series 2 out of 3. 65 wins now on the year, and we have 4 games coming up against a somewhat similar record in the Kansas City Royals. We are 3 wins above them. 4 games, this could go a long way in deciding how this plays out. So let's see what we can do here as we lose Andreas Arias for the rest of the season. 2 to 3 months with a fractured arm. That is going to be devastating for us. Somewhat. We do have a Zach Cassidy who can step into the lineup. Maybe even an Andy Wales to give him an opportunity. But that sucks. Make no mistake. That absolutely sucks. Alright. Well, Cassidy, I think congratulations. Today's your lucky day. I want to get Andy Wales some playing time. I really do. I have Cassidy in as a platoon player against lefties. He's doing really well. I think I'm going to give Andy Wales the chance against righties. Now, he can't play third. Urena can, so we'll swap those 2. And I'm going to give Andy Wales an opportunity against righties at the very least. So again, Wales and Urena, we'll swap them around. And against lefties, we'll go ahead and put Urena into the lineup. So Urena would be ahead of Robles or behind Robles? Behind Robles, so we'll do it that way. So lefty DH. Actually, how do we want to do this? Screw it, let's take a look here. So, put Urena ahead of Robles, to be fair. Robles has had more at-bats. Armentero's still relatively decent power, but struggling in the average department, and then Taveras is having a pretty strong year. So maybe we'll go Taveras, Armenteros, Robles, Urena still. I think we'll do it that way. So again, Andy Wales will be in against righties, and now against lefties, we'll still have Zach Cassidy in the lineup. Probably bringing up the rear. But that'll give Urena an opportunity to get into the lineup. So Andy Wales, congratulations to you. I think you're going to get, you're going to be the primary beneficiary out of all of this. He's going to get to play a tad bit more. Losing Arias certainly sucks, though. And what also sucks is the fact that we're continuing to lose games. I think you could tell at the start of this there was a certain sense of optimism. That's out the door a little bit. We're now 66-55, and this has been an outright disaster. As far as this month goes, we're a little bit over the halfway mark. We need to turn things around here. 3 games against the Yankees. They're only 3 games up in terms of wins. We need to make this happen here, and we lose 2 out of 3. Okay, we are really slipping up. 3.5 back in New York. Baltimore, they're pulling it off, man. They're only a half a game back of us. They've played 1 more game, so we have a game at hand, but that is unfortunate. We are really struggling here. Yeah, starting pitching-wise, we're on a down stretch. Damn. I mean, we just need our guys to start playing like we know they can, and it's a gigantic week and a half here. 3 games against Baltimore now, and then 3 games at the same time next week. These games could go a long way in deciding the playoff structure. So here we go. 3 games against Baltimore, and we do take 2 out of 3, which I'm thankful for. Arias is still going to be out for a month or 2. 69 wins on the season, a nice total. We have 3 games here against Philly. They're 1 game over 500. We split the first 2, and we lose that series. Let's just sim the next 3 against Baltimore, and for the love of God, get out of the month of August as we split the first 2, and we do win the series. So thankfully, we're beating Baltimore, but that is arguably the worst month of play we have had since we've taken over this team. We're 4.5 games back of the Yankees. We now have a decent lead on Baltimore, and the wild card lead is not tremendous. So this is going to be tough. We need to start winning games. I don't exactly feel like that's a controversial statement. We do need to call someone up, by the way. Preferably, I mean, Cassidy is normally our first base replacement, so it could be an outfielder. Just a go-to outfielder that we end up calling up here. Not going to be Ryan Dahl, because I don't want him sitting there. Ricky Winston, Melendez, Jesus Christ, Dion Melendez. Yeah, as a pinch hitter, you might be the guy to go to. So congrats, Dion. You're not on the hottest stretch of your career right now, but you are getting the call-up. And in AA-wise, we have a 74 and another 74 in Austin Blackburn. So Blackburn will get the opportunity, and then in single A, Julio Apara will get the bump up. So congrats to Dion Melendez, as I'm tempted to let the AI handle the call-up and send-downs, but I don't often like the way they handle it. Now, September call-ups are in a few days. I still have the roster set up pretty much in the way I'd want it to be set up, so I don't know if I'm going to have any other changes there. But we do have 3 games here against Miami. They have a losing record. I'd like to think we could win the majority of this. Auto-fix lineup there, and we take 2 out of 3. September call-ups in a day. Let's go ahead and sim this first game against Tampa. It's a 12-9 loss. The Bison down in AAA have won their division, as have the Fisher Cats. So again, a nice note of how strong of a roster and how strong our depth is as a whole. So we do have the call-up options. It's just whether or not we want to kind of ruin the chances of a certain AAA team. But we're going to have to do that. So, Cruz, congratulations. You're getting called up. You'll just be able to sit around for a little bit. Ben Mesa will go to AAA, then we'll have you two in AA. So that works. Delabate, congratulations. I have a full 40-man. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Rodriguez, for some reason, is on the 40-man. So even if I were to... Yeah, I can put you through irrevocable waivers. It's fine by me. And Delabate, we'll get the call up just in case. You're in triple. We'll put you in triple as well, just to set the roster. You know what? Here, I'll make a jump cut for this. We'll be right back. All right, so the roster is good to go. Of course, it's a tad bit of a mess right now, so down the stretch, we're just going to put it on auto so people actually, get a little bit of use. Whether or not it damages the AAA ball club's chance at winning anything, who's to say? But thankfully, especially with some of the injury scares we've had this season, better safe than sorry in terms of trying to make it to the playoffs down the stretch here. Now, continuing onward, 2 more games against Tampa. Thankfully, we win both of them to win that series. We're up to 76 wins on the season as we're playing Cleveland here. The Indians have slowly started to fall, which is nice. Much like Boston, we've been needing that. But this is going to be a tough 4-game series. We need to win the majority because if you look at the schedule coming up next, 3 games against Boston, 3 against New York, 3 against Baltimore, 4 against Tampa, and then another 3 against Tampa to end the season. We're going to need all the help we can get. We're going to need these wins. So here we go. 4 games against Cleveland as Austin Blackburn ends up getting hurt. So that's great. We'll auto that. And somehow the AAA ball club has won. Despite all of the lineup changes and all the players we have called up, they end up winning. So that is tremendous. And same for the AA club. So again, kind of a good sign as far as the organizational depth. We take 3 out of 4 against Cleveland. Just to give you an idea here, I made sure we were good to go. Like, that's not even a discussion. I made sure that we were good to go for what was coming up. So even the likes of Ryan Dahl ended up getting called up here just to make sure that in case of injury, we don't have an issue. So if you look at the AAA roster here, it's still not bad, of course, from a pitching perspective. My God. And really, in general, for a AAA roster, it's solid. The lowest overall guy is a 64, that being Parra in the outfield. And then you look at the AA roster, maybe it's not that much of a surprise, especially when you have potentially low-end major league caliber players like Joel Pena in AA. Not exactly fair, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. Let's move on here. Standings-wise. I was going to say stats-wise. Standing-wise, still 4.5 back of New York. Baltimore has finally slipped up. They're 2-8 in their last 10. Unfortunately, while we start getting our act together, so have the Yankees. So it's going to be a little bit tough. Wild card-wise, we still have 2.5 on Detroit and 3 on both Chicago and Baltimore. So our streak is looking pretty good. 3 games against Boston, and then the biggest series of the year, 3 games against the New York Yankees throughout the course of the weekend. So let's see what we can do here against Boston. Zach Eflin gets roughed up a little bit. Andy Wales is done for the season. Man, it's a good thing I played it safe. Fractured wrist for Andy Wales. He's going to be out for a month or 2. We do end up losing that game in which he got injured. Eflin as well. We do end up losing that 1-0. But we bounce back with a 14-2 victory, completely roughing up Clayton Kershaw, which is pretty nice. So 2 out of 3 there. Another injury that we have to deal with, but it sets the stage for this. 3 games against the Yankees. They are 5 games clear. This is it. If we want to win this division title and avoid the wild card, only to have to earn the right to play the Yankees, more than likely, we need to win this. We're a game and a half up on Chicago. There is still, or technically we're further than that. It's Seattle. That's a game up on Chicago. We need to win. Game 1, 7-2 loss. Game 2, 8-2 win. Oh boy, Henry Murillo, can you get the victory? You can! 5-3. Austin Blackburn's nearly back. We have 3 games against Baltimore. They're a game under 500. What can we do here? We lose the first one as the Buffalo Bison are going to the AAA title game, which is nice. AA-wise, beautiful. The Fisher Cats. Man, that's tremendous level of success for our organization as a whole. There we go. So, champions in AA, champions in AAA. Major leagues? Probably not, but it's such a good sign. As again, we took that step back. We're looking good moving forward. We do end up taking 2 out of 3 against Baltimore. Again, we have 7 games coming up here against Tampa and 3 against Houston to end the season. Standings-wise, we're 4.5 back of New York. They have clinched a postseason appearance yet again. The hope that they would decline alongside the likes of Cleveland and Boston, not quite. But wild card wise, we should be good to go. There is a tie right now, though, between the Angels and Mariners, with the White Sox, Royals, and Tigers all being 2 back. So it's going to be a very close race down the stretch. 4 games against Tampa. Can we get the job done? Liriano, Murillo, Eflin, and Soroka. Let's do this. We split the first 2. Oh my God. All right, well, we took 3 out of 4. The interesting note is Game 3, 15-13 final. Good Lord. Good Lord, what a game. That is ridiculous. Didn't even go extras. They put up 3 in the top of the 9th to nearly come back. That is crazy. Holy hell, what a game. Let's see here. So Ryan Dahl's actually in the lineup for us and doing fairly well. He had 3 hits that game, 2 RBIs, 5 RBI game from Melendez. Like I said, the future is so bright for this team. It's just now I'm worried, though, because, again, we're going to have to make sure that we get rid of the right people at the right time. But before we can focus on that, we're still very much in the race here. 3.5 back. It is confirmed 6 years out of 6 we will be in the postseason. It's just a matter of the seeding. As, again, that top wildcard spot is at the very least locked up. So between the Angels, Royals, and Tigers, we'll see who ends up making it. Can we get the wins here against Houston? That'll keep us in the running against the Yankees. Let's find out. Losing 2 out of 3 will probably do it. It should, and it does. So the Yankees end up taking the AL East. We know that we will be the team on top as far as the wild card is concerned. It's just a matter of whether or not we'll be fighting for the right to play the Yankees in the ALCS, which isn't exactly all that exciting. But let's see what we can do here. As we lose the first 2 to Tampa, we'll sim this game. And there we go. We are playing Seattle in the wild card game, confirmed, with the winner moving on to play the New York Yankees. It'll be the White Sox and Angels in the ALDS. So yet again, any road to success goes through the New York Yankees, of course, but, seeing some new names and new faces here. Over in the NL, it's the Dodgers and Phillies. Winner plays San Diego. Washington will play the Cubs. So that is the playoff bracket for this year. It ended up being close. I mean, we finished 6 games back. The fact that, again, though, we're still winning 90 games in a season is phenomenal. We're the 3rd-rated team right now. So I guess a little bit disappointing. It was just the Yankee pitching was the difference. And again, really, that month of August sunk us. We could have won the division, no doubt about it, as the Mariners make it in 1 game above the Royals. As far as runs scored as well, we'll look elsewhere here, but we do have some awards, as we have Gold Gloves for Miella and Tavares. AL MVP for the 2nd year in a row is Matt Olson. Trevor Bauer takes home the Cy Young. Moncada, the batting title holder, was the reliever of the year. 52 saves, Jesus Christ. And Ton Nobles, the rookie of the year for the Royals Hank Aaron Award, to Rhys Hoskins, who, of course, was traded there throughout the course of the season. I doubt, Melendez was Rookie of the Month. Okay, not bad. Jesus Christ, he had himself one hell of a month, actually. When we called him up, I had a feeling he'd be okay. I didn't realize he'd be that good, which is very promising. League leaders, Junior led the league in hits, Eflin in whip, which is pretty nice. Batting title, of course, I'm only going to look at the AL, but Junior finished in 4th with a .317 average, so again, the closer to 300, the better. In that regard, he did lead the league in hits, easy for me to say. So take a look here, home run leader was Rhys Hoskins, so, moving on from him, was it the right call? Time will tell. He actually had a decent bounce back, some regression. Of course, we traded him again at the end of the 2021 season, where he only hit 18 home runs. I mean, yeah, look at that. There's no way to tell That trade, by the way, for Giolito, holy shit. But there was no way to tell that he'd more than double the output 2 years later. So, it is what it is. His time here was done. But interesting to see him bounce back in the way that he has. And there's a chance we could end up facing him here in the postseason. Santana, 99 RBI on the season, 94 for Taveras in junior. Not bad. Stolen bases, Santana up there as well with 27. On base percentage, Moncada at a 429. You had Junior at a 410. Interesting to note there. Of course, just a dominant season for him. Junior was 8th in slugging percentage. Wins leader was Trevor Bauer. Liriano with 15. Soroka with 14. Losses, Jesse Laws and Ken Franklin with 4 each. Saves leader was Pagan in Chicago. James Hu with 45, though. One behind Roberto Osuna. The ERA leader was Domingo Germán, a 2.79. So again, close to a 3 as possible. Really shows that he had a dominant season. So Zach Eflin, yet again, I think the hero of this series so far. What a find he has been. Absolutely ridiculous. And I think with that, we are pretty much good to go. Eflin, of course, the league leader in whip as well. Wins above replacement. Chris Sale still at 6.1. Would have been nice to bring him back, but then again, he didn't do so hot when he was here. So what are you going to do? That pretty much covers it. We'll look at team rankings quickly. Batting average, we were 3rd, which isn't too bad. We actually had the most at-bats throughout the entire league. Runs, we were 8th, so a decent bit of conversion for the team. It was 3rd in hits, 1,500 on the nose. We led the league in doubles, one of 2 teams to break the 300-point mark. We led the league, or tied for the league lead in triples, with Detroit Bobichette with 8 triples on the season. Home runs-wise, we were out of the top 10, which I guess isn't that big of a surprise. 22nd, so the power game still isn't a major factor for us. Junior with 31, Santana with 29, and Bichette with 25. RBI-wise, we were tied for 8th. Stolen bases, we were 2nd, which is pretty nice. Let's see, what else can we look at here? Slugging percentage, as a team, we were 9th. On base percentage, as a team, we were 13th. And from there, I mean, we're pretty much good to go. Fielding percentage, 6th, not bad. ERA, 2nd, behind the Yankees. Because, of course, Domingo Germán led the league, so it's not really that much of a surprise. Although we did have 8 complete games, 3 for Henry Murillo. Saves, of course, we were tied for 5th. 2nd in blown saves, though. A little bit disappointing. I mean, in fairness, that's actually the better thing for us, but still to see 5 blown saves for James Hu, a little bit disappointing, I suppose. Better than 39 blown saves, though, so that's good. We also allowed the fewest hits in the league, so it really makes you wonder. It was just one bad month. That's all it was. One bad month that managed to sink us. And yet again, we're going to have to go through the wild card. So as far as the lineup is concerned, of course, we will take control back to set all of this up in time. And someone like Snowden, of course, being on the 40-man, will probably get the call up and not be down in Double-A. So I'm going to have to set up this roster. Give me a minute, actually. That way we can look at some stats from the end of the season. So let me set up our postseason roster before we call this an episode. Well, on the bright side, some of you already know that I missed the window and set up the roster on, September 3rd or 4th as opposed to September 1st, and therefore I don't have full control to call up someone like a Bill Snowden. On the bright side, the roster's still pretty much set up in the way that we'd have it set up. So I guess it's not a major disaster, but still, September call-ups continue to ruin my life. Unfortunately, one Dion Melendez will not be a part of the team. But that said, we're still looking okay, and I suppose the big decision yet again is as to who we end up starting. Do we trust a Diego Liriano because he's performing well? Do we trust Soroka? Or do we go for Eflin? 3 options. Eflin on a bit of a cold streak, but Soroka, Liriano, Eflin, one of those 3 have to start the game against the Seattle Mariners, and unfortunately my bench has been a little bit neutered. So I will go through and double check as to whether or not I'm allowed to call up anybody. I'm going to guess no, so that's great, and that's mainly due to the injuries, I would assume. So I'm feeling great about that. We'll set up the roster, though. We'll have it good to go. There's pretty much nothing I can do anyway. Bottom line is, another successful season. What happens here at the end of our 6th year? We'll find out in the next episode. Seattle and potentially a series against the New York Yankees. Let me know who you think should start in that game against the Mariners. For now, thank you for watching. Appreciate the support as always. You know the deal. Support the video, support the channel description and such. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.